Welcome back to Computer Organization course. Today we will study input-output interface circuits or I/O interface circuits, or in general called as interface circuits. These are the hardware circuits available in between computer bus and I/O device. Interface circuits helps to remove differences between CPU and input-output device. So let us start interface circuits. In this video we will discuss two types of interface circuits, parallel and serial. In the parallel we will in detail study how input interface circuits, output interface circuits and both input output combined interface circuit works. Also we will study about serial interface circuits. Before starting this session, I just request you to go through the basic prerequisite knowledge that required to understand this session. Interface circuit is mainly used to remove difference in working procedure between processor and I/O device. What are such differences? See, the processor produce data in digital format, in binary. But I/O devices are mechanical devices or electromagnetic devices, so which requires analog signal. Also behavior of processor and I/O devices is completely different, right, in perspective of data transfer. Some devices, input output devices, works on serial data, some other device works on parallel data. But processor always process parallel data through the bus. Even different input output devices works on different format of data. A mouse, a keyboard, or if you take a printer, the data which is processed inside those devices will be in different format. The data you send to a mouse, right, it must be in different format when compared to the data we receive from the keyboard. Even we know that the speed of different I/O devices are different. So to remove all these differences between working behavior of I/O devices or processor, the interface circuits handle all these differences, and so that processor works in a same way with all input output devices. So exactly where we can see a interface circuit, for example, if there is a processor here, it is right connected to a bus and I/O device is connected to a bus, but between the bus and I/O device there is a interface circuit. So all the data transferred between processor and I/O devices passes through the interface circuit. A interface circuit has two sides. On the one side it is connected to the main bus of processor. So bus contains address, data and control signals. So the interface circuit also towards that side has address, data and control signal to copy data from the interface circuit on the bus or receive data from the bus inside the interface circuit. And another side of the interface circuit, it is connected to the device, the right actual physical input output device. So there that it has ports. Ports are nothing but the wires or data paths through which interface circuit and physical input output devices transfer data between them. So in that ports we can see here processor bus is connected to the I/O interface circuit on one side, and the buses have their own standard, that is address, data, control lines are there, so there is no issue. But in interface circuit on another side there are ports which are used to connect physical input output devices, and in this ports there are two types, a parallel port and a serial port. So some circuits have parallel ports, in interface circuits of parallel ports which are connected to a device which works on parallel data. If an input output device works on a serial data, then interface circuit will have serial port on another side. So let us see what is the serial port and parallel port. So here in interface circuits, ports are used to transfer data either from interface circuit to a output device or transfer data from a input device to the interface circuit. So these ports have there are two types. One is a parallel port, another one is a serial port. In the parallel port, the data transfer between input device and input output device and interface circuit. The data transfer between these two, right, where data is transferred using multiple bits. That means either 8 bit, 16 bit or 32 bit. So in parallel port, data transfer takes place where more than one bit of data is sent at a time. Okay, in terms of 8, 16 or 32 bit based on the size of the port. In serial port, the data transfer, right, takes place bit by bit, every bit at a time, one bit at a time. So this is because there are some devices which works on parallel port and there are some devices which works on serial port or serial data. So based on the device connected, the I/O circuit, interface circuit will have either serial port or parallel port. That means interface circuit will transfer or receive multiple bits of data or single bit of data at a time. Now on another side of the interface circuit, there is a bus connected to the processor, but processor always communicates with any interface circuit in the same manner. But interface circuits behave differently based on the device, input output device connected to it. So all the conversion based on, right, parallel or serial is done in the interface circuit. Processor always works on the parallel data. It sends, right, data in the data bus using address and controls, and that data is either converted to parallel port or serial port communications by the interface circuit. These are the main functionality of I/O interface. So I/O interface basically provides a temporary storage for the data that has to be transferred between processor and I/O device, because the speed of the I/O device and processor are different. So temporarily data gets stored in the I/O interface. I/O interface also provides status to inform processor whether device is free or device is ready to receive data or device has prepared the data based on the I/O devices. So if it is an input device, I/O interface has status to inform the processor that input device has prepared the data and data is in the buffer. Or if it is an output device, I/O interface has a status to tell the processor that I/O output device is idle, there is no data to, right, provide output, so processor can send more data. So there is a status in the I/O interface that is always used by the processor to know the status of the I/O device. I/O interface also has address decoder, because whenever processor wants to communicate with a particular devices, processors present its address in the address bus or address lines of the bus. So that address is traveled through all the devices, and I/O interface of every device catch that address in the address lines of the bus and finds out whether that address belongs to the I/O device connected to that particular interface. And timing signal for the bus control scheme, it is actually generated by I/O interface. Also format conversions, because the data received from the bus is always parallel. If device works on serial port, then I/O interface converts that parallel data into serial data. So these are the main responsibility of the I/O interface in the data transfer communication or process between processor and I/O device. As I told you earlier, there are two types of interface circuits. One interface circuit with parallel port to communicate with I/O device, and another type of interface circuits which has serial port to communicate with input output devices. So now we'll start with the interface circuit with the parallel port. So before starting how interface circuits with parallel port works, we will consider some scenarios to give examples. Actually, in the parallel port interface circuit, in the syllabus we have three different concepts. One is interface circuit with parallel port for the input device. Here keyboard they have explained. And one more concept, that is interface circuit with the parallel port for the output device communication. That is printer they have discussed. Also one more circuit they have discussed, that is I/O interface circuit, which has both serial and parallel ports. So these three are discussed in the interface circuit with parallel port. So before starting the interface circuit discussion on parallel ports, you must know under which scenario I am talking or giving examples. When I say keyboard, printer, input devices, output device communication combined, all those things, whenever I give example, always try to remember that processor is 32-bit processor. That means processor bus can carry 32-bit of data, right, at a time. Okay, that's a parallel data, 32-bit data at a time. And I am talking about memory mapped I/O, where input output devices are actually, right, addressed by the processor using a particular address. Unique addresses are assigned for every I/O device. And I am talking about the asynchronous bus protocol. Since bus is, right, involved in data transfer, and there are two types of buses, synchronous and asynchronous. Here while giving the example, I will consider always asynchronous bus. So let us start with interface circuit with the parallel port for the input devices, that is keyboard. Now let us see a parallel port interface circuit used to connect keyboard to the processor. Now here you can see this is the keyboard device here. These two boxes which contains keyboard switches and encoder and debouncing circuit, it is together physical keyboard which you see, right? And here we have processor, and this is whatever there in the colored box, it is a I/O interface. Okay, now here you can see the parallel port that is connected, right, which connects interface circuit as well as the keyboard. Okay, that part is called parallel port. Now this is a input port. Interface circuits receive data from the keyboard, it is an input port, as well as it is a parallel port. The input is received is a parallel data, means multiple bits of data sent at a time to the interface circuit, not bit by bit. And also it is 8-bit input port. That means all the 8 bits sent at a time to the interface circuit, and these 8 bits represent ASCII of the character pressed. ASCII of the character pressed by the user. So now let us see what happens, right, towards the processor side of the interface circuit. You can see towards the processor side of the interface circuit, there are 5 different signals. So data signals, these are used by the processor to read data from the I/O interface of keyboard. And here address is there. Okay, processor, when it wants to communicate with the keyboard, processor stores or places the address of the keyboard in the address lines of the bus, and processor gives a read signal, because processor want to read the keyboard. It is a keyboard as an input device, so processor gives the read signal and uses master ready signal. Processor uses master ready signal. It makes master ready signal as high once it places address and read signal to indicate all the devices that there is a address and read signal. Also processor uses slave ready signal set by the I/O interface to inform that data is ready in the data buffer. So once slave ready signal is high, processor reads data from the data buffer of the I/O interface circuit, and that is read by the data signals of the or data lines of the bus. Now let us see what are the various signals are there on the another side of interface circuit. That is where the interface circuit connects the actual physical keyboard. Now here you can see actually we'll start from the keyboard. Okay, a keyboard will have keyboard switches. The layout, we know, row and columns, right? Layout of the keyboard, there are rows and columns, and various key have located, right? There is a location for different key on the keyboard. Now when you press a particular key, for the keyboard there is no meaning for the key you have pressed. Like we say A is pressed, enter is pressed. For the keyboard, it is just a key pressed. So keyboard sends here using these lines, physical keyboard sends the location of the key pressed to the encoder circuit. Encoder circuit identifies the location of the key on the keyboard and finds out which key has been pressed by the user. So that is nothing but encoder encodes the key pressed by the user. So that is nothing but encoding means finding out the ASCII value of the key pressed in by the user. So now ASCII value is ready. Then there is a debouncing circuit in the key. That means when you press a key and release, for us it feels like we pressed a single key. Just press and release. Even if you press and release within a short time, processor is very faster. Processor, right, considers even nanoseconds. So the time duration you press and release a key, for the processor it feels very long time. So processor thinks that you are continuously pressing the key, so intentionally. And processor tries to read multiple time. So to avoid this situation, okay, there is a debouncing circuit. So when you press and release a key for a short time, okay, for processor it is a very long time because processor is very faster, but debouncing circuit manages that processor reads only once. So once the encoding is done, that is the ASCII, right, character of the key you have pressed is coded. That data is sent to the data in register by the encoder using these data lines. And then encoder makes that valid line as high to inform the interface circuit that data is placed in the data buffer. So now interface circuits makes this slave ready signal as high to inform processor that data is ready in the data in buffer. So when slave ready signal is high, interface circuit also makes this SIN as 1, means data is there in the data buffer, processor can read it. Now when slave ready signal is high, processor reads that data in, right, data from the buffer using data bus or data lines. Once the data is read from the data buffer, now data buffer is cleared and the SIN value is made 0. So SIN value made 0 to inform, right, to inform the situation that processor has read the data. So this is how 8-bit input parallel port, right, of interface circuit is used to connect a keyboard input device to the processor. The same explanation again written in the theory words here. So these are the signals present at the processor side of the interface circuit, and these are the signals present at the keyboard side of the interface circuit and how these signals are used. This is the internal view of 8-bit input parallel port interface that is used to connect input keyboard device to the processor. Here on the right side the keyboard device is connected, and on the left side here the processor is connected. Processor makes use of data lines in the data bus to read the data from the keyboard. Also controls lines in the right bus is used by the processor with the address lines. So this is all three sections together makes the processor bus. When the device keyboard prepares the input, it sends the input to the data in buffer and makes this valid signal as high. So once keyboard sends data to the data in buffer and makes this valid signal as high, interface circuit makes this status bit as 1. The status bit is made 1 to indicate processor that there is a data in the data in buffer of the interface circuit. Now processor makes two operations. Once processor reads this status flag to check whether data is there in the data in or not. Second time processor actually reads the data in buffer to get the data from the keyboard. Both the operations are controlled by two AND gates here which controls read status process and read data process. That means read status means processor trying to read status flag to check whether data is actually there in the data in buffer of the input circuit. Now one more AND gate here, it's called read data. That means this AND gate handles when processor actually tries to read the data in buffer. Let us start with reading status process. So how this process is executed, or how the processor reads the status of the input interface circuit. Processor initially issues the read signal. That means it makes RW line as 1 because processor want to read the status. Also master ready signal is high during the initiation of the data transfer. Then processor uses A1 to A31, that is 31 address lines to address the keyboard device. And address decoder reads that address sent by the processor. Address decoder analyze that address and check whether it belongs to the keyboard, whether it is the address of keyboard. If yes, then address decoder also gives the output as 1. Now the 1 bit in address lines, that is A0, is used by the processor to indicate interface circuit whether processor wants to read the status or read the data. So based on the A0 value, either the first AND gate here, its output will be 1, or second AND gate output will be 1. That is because A0 is right. A0 input is given to first AND gate with a NOT gate, and directly A0 is given to second AND gate. So now processor wants to read the status, then it makes A0 as 0. That means the 0 is given as input for the second AND gate. So second AND gate output will be 0 irrespective of other inputs of that AND gate. So this AND gate output is 0. But same A0 is passed to the NOT gate here. So output will be 1. Now this AND gate, all inputs are 1. You can see read signal is 1, master ready signal is 1, even decoder output is 1 here, and A0 is 0, but it passes through the NOT gate, and first AND gate all input becomes 1. Now output of the first AND gate is 1. So this output is given to here tri-state buffer as well as one of the input to the OR gate. First AND gate output is 1, which derives this tri-state buffer and brings that S in from the status flag on the D0 line here. Also the output of this AND gate is fed to this OR gate here. So since one of the input of OR gate is 1 now, its output will be 1, which derives this tri-state buffer and makes the 1 value on the right side be on the slave ready signal on the left side. So it transfers that 1 to the slave ready signal. So now D0 has the status bit and slave ready signal becomes 1. When slave ready signal becomes 1, processor comes to know that there is a status on the D0 line. So it reads that status and check whether it is 1 or 0. If status bit is 1, that means data actually present in the data in register. So processor go to next step. That means it try to read the data in buffer. So let's see how processor reads the data in buffer. When keyboard places the data in buffer, the status flag becomes 1, and the data in buffer will reach this tri-state buffer. Okay, but tri-state buffer block this data by placing it on the data bus or data lines. So tri-state buffer do not allow it. So when processor try to read the data in, processor makes this A0 as 1. Here A0 bit, it makes A0 as 1. So now since NOT gate, one of the input for this AND gate is 0. So its output is 0, read status do not function now. Since A0 is directly given to one more AND gate, and all other input for that AND gate is also 1. So this particular AND gate produces output as 1. Now this one is directly given to the tri-state buffer connected to the data in register here. So what happens now? When you give it to the tri-state buffer connected to the data in register, that one input makes all 8-bit D0 to D7, all 8-bit data to transfer on the here data lines of the bus. So the data available to the processor on the bus, but processor do not know that data is available on the bus. Now parallelly here you can see when this output of this AND gate here, output of this AND gate is 1, that output is also fed to this OR gate here. So output of the OR gate is 1, which derives this tri-state buffer and transfers the 1 which is on the right side on the slave ready signal which is on the left side. So now slave ready signal becomes 1. So when slave ready signal becomes 1, processor comes to know that there is the data on the data bus, it has to copy. So this is how processor reads data from the data in buffer. Now the two things processor handles, that is either it want to read status of the status flag and or data from the data in buffer using address bit A0. So finally when processor reads the data, interface circuits make this status flag as 0. That means the data has been read by the processor. So this is the same theory I explained just now. Okay, you can go through it. This is also continuation of the previous slide, the theory which I explained. Please go through it for the point of exam. So now we know how this circuit, which is 8-bit input parallel port interface circuit, works to connect keyboard to the processor, and we know how processor reads the status or data from the interface circuit. So here one part where you can see the status flag here. Okay, the status flag actually takes 3 different inputs you can see here. One is the output of the AND gate is given to the status flag. Then the master ready signal is also given to the status flag, as well as valid signal from the keyboard also given to the status flag. So based on these 3 inputs, status flag derives the SIN and gives it to the whenever required, gives it to the tri-state buffer. So how SIN is produced, how status flag decides whether data is ready or data is not ready in the input interface. So all these things, how status flag is derived using the read status signal, the master ready signal and the valid signal. So that is discussed in next slide. So here it is the same status flag, whatever is there inside this red color dotted line, it is a status flag. From the previous circuit we have zoomed in, okay, to see whatever is there inside the status flag. Okay, you can go through here. The status flag has 3 input: master ready signal, read data signal from the AND gate and valid signal from the keyboard. Using these 3 signals within the status flag, you can see 2 NOT gates here, right, and 2 NOR gates, 1 AND gate and 1 D flip-flop. So you know how all these individually works. If you know how NOT gate, NOR gate, AND gate and D flip-flop individually works, then try to combine this circuit, how in combination they works and how SIN is produced. So please go through it. So till now we studied about parallel port, in which we discuss how a 8-bit input port is used in an interface to connect keyboard to the processor, and we studied how processor reads from the keyboard. So that is done. Now we will go to one more topic, that is under parallel port itself we will study output interface circuit, which allows us to connect printer to the processor. So let us study 8-bit output parallel port interface circuit. So here printer, here on the right side there is a printer connected to the processor on the left side using IO interface circuit, that is output IO interface circuit on parallel port. So on the processor side for this interface circuit, we have data address read write signal with master and slave ready signals. That means processor, when it want to send some data to the printer, it initially check this S out. Processor check S out status of the interface circuit, and if it is 0, that means printer is busy. But when the S out is 1, when it is 1, that means printer is idle and printer want data to be printed. So that time processor sends some data and stores in data out register of the interface circuit, which is later given to the printer in order to print. But on the right side, where interface circuit is connected to the printer, okay, there are 3 important signals here. So data, valid and idle. What happens is when printer is done with the previous work, when it prints all the data and it is free, then printer makes this idle signal as 1 to indicate interface circuit that I am free, I can print more data. Now when this idle signal is 1, interface circuits makes that S out bit as 1, so that processor comes to know that printer is free and processor sends some data and stores it in data out register. Now data is there and printer is free, so interface circuit copy that data from data out register and keeps it on data lines here. Once interface circuit keeps data on the data line, so interface makes valid signal as high to inform printer that data is ready. Now printer receives that data and prints the data given. So this is how all the signals works here to connect printer to the processor. So this is the interface circuit for printer. So let us see in detail. So this is the same theory again, you can go through it. So this is the detailed view of output interface circuit under parallel port. So output interface circuit with parallel port to connect the printer to the processor. Now here is the printer on the right side and on the left side it's completely processor. So processor is connected to the interface circuit using data bus, then control bus or control lines, and then address lines. Data lines, control lines and address lines. That is the part of a single bus connected to the interface circuit using from the processor. Now printer, when printer is free, has no data to print, it uses that idle signal to inform its interface circuit that it is free. So that time this status flag, the handshake control, that is a status flag, is made as 1 by the interface circuit. Now processor here does 2 things. One is, one time processor reads the status of interface circuit of the printer to check whether printer is free. If printer is free, then again processor sends the data to the interface circuit, which is later sent to the printer. So processor access interface circuit twice, once to read the status, once to send the data to the interface circuit. Now let us see how processor reads the status of the interface circuit. So here interface circuit status will be 1 if printer is free, otherwise it will be 0. So now processor makes read signal as 1. Why? Even though this is an output interface circuit, processor gives read signal as 1 in order to read the status from the interface circuit. So read signal is 1, master ready signal is anyway made, right, it is 1 during the initiation of the transfer. Then processor sends the address of this printer If it is the actual address of the printer, then address decoder output is 1, indicating interface that it is address of our printer. And now again A0, we know that A0 it's 0, processor makes A0 as 0 if it wants to read the status, or if you want to store the data into the interface circuit, send the data to the interface circuit, it makes A0 as 1. Now here there is a NOT gate, so what happens is when A0 is 0, okay, this AND gate output is 0, right? Also the read signal is also given to that AND gate here, NOT gate, using NOT gate, so it will be 0 anyway. Now when A0 is 0, okay, here there is a NOT gate, its output is 1, this NOT gate. What happens is when A0 is 0, output of this AND gate here is 1, because all the input is 1. Okay, now here processor wants to read the status, so that's why here it is given read signal and made A0 as 0. So 2 signals, so double confirmation, that's it. So output of this AND gate here is 1, okay, which directly given to the tri-state buffer. Here there is a tri-state buffer. So what does that tri-state buffer do? It reads that S out status of the printer, that is 1 or 0, and keeps it on the D1, right? D1 line of the data bus. Now on the D1 line of the data bus, status of the printer or iOS interface circuit is there. Okay, how processor comes to know that that status is there in the bus? That because of this AND gate which produces 1, it also sends that 1 to the OR gate here, right? So output of OR gate again becomes 1. So this 1 in the tri-state buffer, that 1 on the left side here, okay, is sent to the slave ready signal. So that particular AND gate here you can see, I'll explain once again. So when this AND gate is 1, it derives the tri-state buffer and makes S out value, okay, to be present on the data D1 of the data bus. Also the same one of this output AND gate is fed as the input to the OR gate. So OR gate output is also 1. So master slave ready signal becomes 1. Now when slave ready signal becomes 1, processor comes to know that I have inquired the status. So status is on the data line 1. So processor reads that status, whether status is 1 or 0. If it is 1, that means printer is free. Then processor goes to next step, sending data to the interface circuit. So now let us see how processor sends data to the interface circuit when it sees that S out of the interface circuit. The status of the interface circuit is 1. So it reads status by using A0 as 0. Now it want to send data to the interface circuit. So what happens here is processor gives a write signal. That means when it is 0, read write signal is 0, that means it is a write operation. Processor wants to make a write operation to the interface circuit. So master ready is always 1, right, during the initiation of the transaction. Then address is 1 because processor has placed address of the printer. So address decoder of this interface circuit is 1, and it makes A0 as 1 because it wants to send data to the interface circuit or printer. Now you can look, right, see this, since read write signal is 0, directly input to this AND gate is 0, one of the input. So this output of the AND gate is 0. So read status doesn't work here. So this is gone. So now what happens with another AND gate? In another AND gate, right, which receives this read write signal, whatever 0 is here, there is a NOT gate in between. So it receives, right, input as 1. And all other input, that is master ready, address decoder, and A0 is 1. So output of this AND gate here is 1. That output of AND gate, right, given to the data out register here. When processor makes all these signals as 1 or 0, right, to send the data, processor keeps data on the data bus at the same time. When it derives all these control signals, no, that same time processor keeps the data which it want to send, that 8-bit data, on the data bus. So it will be here reaching the data out register, but data out register do not allow it to be stored. So when this output of this AND gate becomes 1 here, that derives the data out register to store the data present at the data bus. So it will be stored in the data out register, that 8-bit data. Now data has reached the data out register. Okay, so that output of this AND gate here, that is 1, also reaches this OR gate. So output of OR gate is 1, which makes this tri-state buffer to send that 1 to the slave ready signal. Okay, that means when data is placed in the buffer, data out buffer of the interface circuit, processor gets slave ready signal, that processor gets a confirmation that data has been reached the interface circuit. So this is a part from the processor side. Now what happens next? So now data has reached here in the data out register, and interface circuit knows that idle bit is read high by the printer, indicating that printer is free. So interface circuit copies this data on the 8-bit parallel port here, on the 8-bit parallel port, copies that data and makes this bit as 0, that is status flag, S out bit as 0, and uses the valid signal. It makes this valid signal as 1. So when valid signal is 1, printer comes to know that data is there in the port. So printer reads that data from the port and starts printing the data. So this is how data is sent from the processor to the interface circuit, and from interface circuit to the printer. So this is the same theory again given in the lines. You can read this and remember this for the exam point of view. So till now under parallel port we studied 8-bit input port interface circuit as well as 8-bit output port interface circuit. Now let us see a interface circuit which have both input port as well as output port. So it is a combined interface circuit which can be connected to any input device as well as output device under the parallel port. So let us see this combined circuit. This is the combined parallel input output interface circuits, which allows an input device here to send data to the interface circuit and then to the processor, and also to connect an output device here where interface circuit receives data from the processor and give it to this output device. But data bus here is, this is the data bus, only one data bus, right? Processor reads or writes data in the same data bus. But here in interface circuit we have two different buses, right? PA0 to PA7, right, to read data from an input device and store it in the data in register. Similarly, PB0 to PB7, that data, right, bus transfers data from data out register to the output device. And here one more thing is, in the combination where interface circuit has both input and output, that the status flag here. In the status flag we read two different signal. One is from the input device and one more CB2, that is for the output device. From the processor side there is a small change when compared to previous two interface circuits. Here in the data lines, address bus, in the address lines only 30-bit address is used. That is here A2 to A31 is used to address the input output device or address this interface circuit by the processor, and two different bits, that is A0 and A1, two different bits are reserved to select the operation processor does. Here actually processor does 4 operations. One is read data from data in register of the interface circuit. One more operation is send data by the processor, send data to the data out, right, buffer of the interface circuit. One more operation is initially before reading data from data in, processor actually reads the SIN, right, to check whether flag, here in the flag bit processor reads the SIN to check whether data is ready in the data in register. And the fourth operation is before sending data to the data out register, processor reads S out. From the same flag it reads S out bit to see whether data out register is actually empty, so that it can send the data. Now S in and S out both are there in the flag. In the status flag itself there are both 2 bits now. Initially that it was 1, now it is 2 bits in the status flag. One is S in, one is S out. So here processor makes 4 operations. So it read S in status, it reads S out status, it reads data in, right, actual data, it also writes or sends to the data out. Okay, 4 different operation. So we have A1 and A0, 2 bits, which makes 4 combinations, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0 and 1, 1. And while reading S in will be placed in the D0 of the data bus, and S out is placed in the D1. So this is known by the processor and processor handles it. So this is the combined circuit for interface circuits, which is having both input as well as output parallel ports. Now here the issue is, we can see this entire diagram is very complicated. That means the circuit, combined interface circuit, is really complicated. So to reduce the combined interface circuit, here we can see this PA0 to PA7, they transfer data right in this direction. And here PB0 to PB7, they transfer data in this direction. They are unidirectional, only one direction. But you know here data bus either sends data to data out register, right, in this direction, or it reads data in this direction. Means data bus is bidirectional. So if that bidirectional is applied to these 2 data line right, the bidirectional concept, then we can reduce this circuit a little bit. Okay, so we will see how exactly it works. Here we convert the entire data lines which connects, right, interface circuit to the input device here, and data lines which connects interface circuit to the output device. Okay, we make it bidirectional. So it can send data to the output device as well as it can receive data from the input device. That time this can be reduced, the circuit can be reduced. We'll see this in next slide. So this is a theory about combined interface circuit which I explained. We can go through this slide. Okay, we will go to one more slide where we discuss how circuit can be reduced by introducing bidirectional lines which connects interface circuit and IO device. So this is a general 8-bit input output parallel interface circuit. Here we have introduced bidirectional data lines which connects interface circuit and any input output device. So to the same P0 to P7 8-bit data line, we can connect input device as well as output device. So when input device is connected, that data device sends data from P0 to P7 using those ports. It sends data to data in register. Then from data in through the tri-state buffer, processor reads that using data bus. Similarly, when processor sends data to a output device, if here is output device connected, processor sends data through the data bus, it will go through the data out buffer. From data out buffer it will reach tri-state buffer, and using same P0 to P7 it reaches the output device. So here we can see this input data, right, the same P0 P7 data lines are used. The input device sends data to the data in. From data in register or temporary buffer it reaches the tri-state buffer, and then it reaches the processor. Okay, this is how it works. And one more concept here is when processor sends the data. When processor sends the data from the data bus, it will reaches the data out register. From the data out it register tri-state buffer, and from using same P0 to P7 it reaches the output. So this is how we can reduce the circuit by using bidirectional ports. So here in the bidirectional data lines P0 to P7, it is not compulsory that at a time all the lines P0 to P7 should have a single direction. like from in right towards the data in or towards the output device. Okay, the direction for all the lines need not to be same at a time. That means you can individually program P0 to P7, these 8-bit lines. You can individually program every line P0 to P7 whether it should have right towards left direction or right direction. So that is using DDR register here, that is data direction register. This DDR register has bits B0 to B7, that is 8-bit register. Okay, they represent these ports here, port lines P0 to P7. So every bit here B0 to B7 represents ports P0 to P7, their direction. So if a particular bit is 1 in the data direction register, DDR register, the port corresponding to that bit right works as a output port. If a particular bit is 0, that bit right port corresponding to that bit works as a input, right, works in the input direction. So direction of these P0 to P7, that 8 port lines, can be individually programmed using data direction register. So this is the same theory, again you can go through it. So till now under interface circuit concept, under the parallel port interface circuits, we studied 8-bit parallel input port interface circuit as well as 8-bit parallel output port interface circuit, and also we completed the combined circuit which has 8-bit parallel input port as well as 8-bit parallel output port. Now let us study the serial port interface circuit. So in such circuits, communication between interface circuit and any input output device right is done in bit by bit fashion. That means every time a single bit is transmitted between IO circuit, interface circuit and IO device. Such device exists which needs data bit by bit. So in that case, if interface circuit sends all the 8 bit at a time, the device cannot handle. So that's why there are serial ports in the interface circuit. Now how every bit is transmitted one by one, that is we have studied a concept called shift register or shift instruction or shift right operation. But there are some special purpose registers, okay, which are called shift registers, which we study in analog and digital electronics subject. Okay, those shift registers are used. Using that, for every clock cycle we can transfer one bit of data right out of the register, okay, which will go to the output device. Or we can shift in another direction where we receive every bit from the input and keep storing in the register by shifting one bit towards another direction. So this is how it works using shift register. So go through this concept before studying this session. So this is a detailed diagram about the serial port interface circuit. Here we have already combined input and output. So this is what they have given in the syllabus. So here there is a two shift register. One is the input shift register, one is the output shift register, and a single data bus as usual to processor read or send the data. Now let us see the input operation. When a input device, that is serial input device, which keeps sending every bit one by one. So initially that bit reaches here in right here. When that bit sends one more bit, this bit here is shifted towards the left, right, and the new bit is placed. That is a shift operation. So every time a bit is received, we transfer all the bits, current bits in the input shift register, okay, towards left. Now when you transfer every one bit towards left, a new vacant place is created here. So the data generated by one bit data is placed in this. So this is how input shift register works. That means every time a bit is received from the input device, the shift register shifts all the current bits towards left. So this in this fashion it collects 8 bits. Once 8 bits are collected one by one, all the 8 bits are transferred to the data in register. You can see here it transferred to the data in register. Now once the 8 bits are transferred to data in register, the input register starts collecting new data from the input device bit by bit. In the parallelly, once the data is transferred to the data in register, through the tri-state buffer, processor reads that data in content, that 8-bit content using data bus. Now once again when 8 bits are collected, right, every bit is collected bit by bit and that 8 bits are collected, again it transfers that 8 bit to the data in register. Again it will be read by the processor. So processor reads every 8 bit, right, through the data in. For the processor it is always parallel, right, processor always read 8 bit at a time as a parallel port, but for the serial input device only it is serial port. So processor and interface circuit communication is always parallel. Now let us see how output operation is done. In the output operation, so here there is a serial output device which receives data from the processor bit by bit. Now processor sends entire 8-bit data at a time to the data out register, and data out copies that 8-bit data to the output shift register. Now output shift register has 8-bit data here. So output shift register starts shifting data towards right 1 bit at a time. Now what happens is that bit which is at the end of will come out of the register and output device reads it. Now again shifted. Every time data is shifted towards right, so the last bit will come out of the register, that is transferred to the output device. So output device here gets data bit by bit manner. But for the processor it is transferring whole 8 bit at a time to the data out register. Now there is a one concept while reading here data, right, reading in this data from the input device. So what happens is once the 8 bits are collected in the shift register, input shift register, they are transferred to the data in buffer. Now processor starts reading this data in buffer, but parallelly this input shift register starts collecting new bits from the input device. So there you can see that here the concept of double buffering. What is concept of double buffering? That means once 8 bits are collected, the 8 bits are there in the input shift register, as well as when we transfer those 8 bits to data in here, so 8 bit will be there in the data in register or buffer. And there are one more buffer, that is input shift register, can be used for another purpose, that means to collect the new data. So we need not to wait processor to read 8 bits to collect the new data. So we can parallelly collect the new data once previous data is placed into the data in. This is happened because there are two buffers. One is the input shift register, one more buffer is data in buffer. So that's why it is called double buffering. So this is all about combined input output serial interface circuit. So again the theory which I explained is given here again. So you can try to read this and memorize this for the exam purpose. Now let us see some characteristics or properties of serial port over parallel port. Now we know both serial port and parallel port communication, but in serial port the fewer wires are required in the serial port, correct? No, because ultimately multiple wires to send parallel, right, bits, all the bits at a time is not required in the serial interface. In the serial interface every bit is sent at a time, only one bit is sent, so we need fewer lines. That means we can connect physically distant devices to the computer, means the input device or output device which are far from the computer, physical distance I am talking about, that physical distance, right, if it is more, then we can go serial. Why? Because serial interface takes less wires, so the cost of the, right, connection will be less. We need less wires, so if there is a more distance between device and processor, we can use serial interface. Then about the transmission of the data, here in serial interface every bit is transferred, right, one by one. So here is the speed of the data transmission is called bit rate. That means for a given time how many bits can be sent one by one. Okay, so it's called bit rate. Now bit rate also depends on, it depends on the nature of the device. That means, so how fast that device can collect the data serially or how fast that device can produce the data serially, depends on that we can decide the bit rate. Since various devices have various different speeds, in serial communication if you connect different devices with different speed, then we should have a different clock, a range of clock speeds. Correct? No, it should work in different clocks because speed of the different device in serial interface is different. Okay, so multiple devices are connected. Then in order to accommodate devices with the range of speeds, a serial interface must be able to use range of clock speeds, different clock speeds. And there are different standards which makes use of serial interface. In the syllabus we have not studying these standards. Here we study different standards. So a serial standards which makes use of serial interface communication is UART ports and RS-232C ports. These ports you might have heard about the computers. We make use of these ports which works on serial interface. So in this lengthy session we studied about interface circuits. So what are interface circuits, and it's a type of the interface circuits. In the different categories of interface circuit we studied parallel port and serial port interface circuits, right? In the parallel port interface circuits we studied input interface and output interface separately, and then its combination, a single interface circuit which has input as well as output port. In the serial interface circuit, right, we directly studied combination, that is input as well as output. So this is about interface circuit. Thank you.